Yo, guys, it's your boy HH. Half to the hope, half to the hope, half to the hope. So, little something. I've got a little special guest for you guys now. So, as you all know, look, man, we're all about the sale. We're all about the Champions League and so forth. And I think that what we've always been saying is having basically women in the industry, women in for football and so forth. And as you guys know, I take football very seriously. So I am against women trying to use their sexiness or their bodies to try and talk about football. As soon as I see that, I press stop and I press off because I take football too seriously. So when I was obviously going on Twitter and everything, I just thought, this I got this follow from this individual. Okay, let me click, and then I was like, oh wow. So this is so her name is Lenka. She runs a self-made sports journalist herself. So she runs this thing called SideLines SRB, which focuses on football and in Serbia, probably Serbian sports as well. But the thing I like about it is that it's a woman who knows her stuff and doesn't try to use the sexiness to promote it. It's very, very serious, very, very real, and she's building it off from herself. So I like to just introduce Miss Lenka and just pretty much just talk about your sports websites and how you got it going and everything like that. So guys know about you.
All right. Hi, guys. First of all, my name is Lenka, or Jelena, if you want to call me by my real name. I am very much Serbian. I was born and raised mostly in Belgrade, which is its capital. And I focus on writing about Serbian sports, Serbian team sports, to be precise. And then I like to write about major sporting events. So the World Cup or the basketball championships or, the EuroLeague in basketball. Again, I also touch upon the Champions League and the Europa League because Serbia has representatives in both of those, which we're going to mention later. But yeah, I'm basically a female sports journalist, and I do love my job. That's pretty much it. And SideLines Serbia was made in 2015. I made everything from scratch, from the site to all of the articles. It is a multilingual platform, so I tend to write about certain things in different languages that will interest certain interest groups. So if it's Serbian football, I'm most likely going to write about it in Serbian because people from Serbia are going to read about it.
I always keep on telling Lenka that please tweet in English. Trust me. Appeal to your English fans. Tweet in English. I don't know Serbian. But yeah, carry on.
Yes, I've been told that I should tweet more in Serbian. I will tweet more in Serbian. Fun fact, when I had my first Twitter account, I tweeted in English, just nothing else, only English for the first 2 years. And then it became popular in Serbia. And so in order to appeal to the Serbian audience and to the more regional audience when it comes to, regional sports, I figured, I have to talk in my own language, in our language, to the regional audience about regional football. And then as I was getting more into the local media, I became more local. So yeah, there will be more content in English, especially in English, in the future, especially as the season goes on with the Champions League, the Europa League, and so on and so forth. So yes, there will be content in English.
Okay. So remember, guys, in the description box below are links to her website and her links to her Twitter. So remember, guys, don't be bricks. Follow. I want everyone who views this to follow her on Twitter. So next time I look, I'm sure she has those followers. So don't be bricks, guys. Trust me. I've given you too much content, so listen to whatever I say. Now, let's talk Champions League. So,
all right.
Who would you say are, because this is what me and my subscribers have been trying to talk about for a long time, as to who are the clear favourites? Started with Juventus, then I went to Liverpool, then I'm like, is it Liverpool? PSG, they're a bunch of losers because they keep on choking.
They do.
Yep. So in your view, if you just say favourites,
clear
favourites for this year's Champions League.
I would have to say Liverpool. I don't like Liverpool. Don't at me.
You're gonna get hates. Trust me.
I know. It's a personal opinion. I grew up loving Manchester United, and yes, I know that they're crap. It is the situation that it is. But Liverpool is still a clear favorite, even though I don't like it. I have to admit it, and this is why you get this as a bonus. Someone who doesn't like Liverpool is admitting that they're really good. So you can't get any better than that if you're a Liverpool fan, honestly. They do have a solid team. They have solid ideas. I like when a team has continuity, when they're not switching it up every 6 months like PSG is doing. Like, I hate that. I hate the idea of just buying in bulk and trying to do something. And if it doesn't work in 3 months, which is most likely going to be the case because human beings don't fit like puzzle pieces, then like resell everything and then do it again and do it again and do it again. I don't like that at all. So I do think Liverpool has a lot of chances to be excellent this season. Real Madrid is currently on a kind of a seesaw. But I think
like, let's be real. Real Madrid are not sniffing that trophy. They're not sniffing that. Come on, let's be real. Okay, they're not. Okay, so why would you even mention Real Madrid?
Because they have the kind of weight of the name of the previous trophies. They are gonna have some sort of an impact this year. They may not get into like the finals, maybe, or maybe they will. I don't know. But they still won't flunk out in like the group stage or something because they are Real Madrid. They can take it. Even if they're not at their best level, they still have the kind of weight of the name.
But let me ask you this though. So, but do you think that they can succeed without the goals and attacking prowess of Cristiano?
That is a big question, honestly. I don't like when a club is basing their game off a single player. And it's something that I will take against Barcelona as well, even though I am a fan. But when you base a game on a single person, when that person retires or injures or, I don't know, stops being so good because they've aged, which unfortunately happens, what are you going to do for the next 3 or 5 years? You have to be more diverse.
No. But I think that the issue with Real Madrid is, it's true, they were very heavily reliant on Cristiano, but
That's
also
true.
as well, as you said, people age, and I think the issue with Real Madrid is the very core of the team that won those 3 Champions Leagues. They've passed their peak, and once you're past your peak, that's it. So you can't just relive your peak. So I think when you look at a Ramos, a Modric, a Toni Kroos, a Casemiro, a Dani Carvajal, these guys did amazing in those 3 years they won those Champions Leagues. So how can you come back to a team that are past their peak and try and still make them competitive?
Honestly, if I was a coach, I would introduce younger players in time so that they can still learn from the older guys in the field, so that they can pick up those skills as they're actually playing alongside them. I would be able to rest the older players, like give them 30 minutes instead of 70. But to make those 30 minutes matter on one hand, and on the other hand, to make the young players that are going to stay for the next 10 years, hopefully, to make them actually learn the key skills and everything that makes my team what it really is. So if there's any kind of long-term wisdom in Real Madrid, this is what they would do, which I'm not sure is the case, because again, major teams focus on buying major players because, sound value and whatnot.
Okay, so let's look at Juventus.
Okay.
So because a lot of people, because I mean, before the season started, I think there's something about Juventus. So new manager coming in, Sarri, obviously had success with Chelsea in the Europa League, and very good squad, very deep squad. And Cristiano has said that he wants another Champions League trophy. So what chances do you give of Juventus? Because remember, again, a point that you made before is the over-reliance on one player.
Yes.
So do you feel that it's the same scenario where Juventus are going to overly rely upon Cristiano? Or do you feel a Rabiot, a Ramsey, even a Gonzalo Higuain, these other players can actually step up to the plate and actually give Cristiano more support with regards to the goal scoring?
I don't think many players playing alongside Cristiano Ronaldo would actually dare to go up against him. In the sense of trying to get the ball instead of passing it.
Okay, so basically, so you're saying that Cristiano is an arrogant prick, or is that what?
That is absolutely what I'm saying. Don't at me. Also, don't
No,
at
no,
me.
no. The Cristiano fanboys, they are coming. No, they're coming for both of us. So we are both in the same boat. So we're gonna take all the heats. But carry on.
All right. The thing is, when someone has a really huge ego, which is obviously based off of incredible achievements, no one's going to dispute that.
True, 100%.
There is a big problem with young players that are very, very insecure. I mean, if you're like 20 years old and you're trying to play football with Cristiano Ronaldo, are you going to kick that ball if you have him on your left, or are you going to pass it? You're most likely going to pass it. Players feel very kind of threatened, and it takes a very special level of skills and a faith within yourself, in your own talent, that will make you say, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to pass it to anyone, I'm going to kick it, and if I score, I score. If I don't, screw it, I'm going to try it another time again.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate here then.
Okay.
But do you think that, and this is something that because again, like I fully appreciate Cristiano's goal scoring prowess and what he's done.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I really don't like him as a person. And people, and I've had this view over years, like I don't like arrogant people, and I just think he's arrogant, and I just hate arrogant people. So I don't like him as a guy. But I appreciate that he's one of the best goal scorers of all time. But
I'm the same. Yeah, I'm the same.
But do you think it's an asset to have someone who is so driven to try and score many goals? Don't you think that could be an asset to a team? A guy says, I don't care what anyone says, shoot on sight, I want it to sort about me. Wouldn't you think that is a plus and an advantage to have that kind of player on your team?
It's kind of like an Occam sword, honestly, because it could go really well for you in the sense of scoring goals, winning games, even on the long run. But on the other hand, it could create a huge disbalance within the team. It can create a lot of unnecessary defeats if the guy is having, I don't know, a bad day like any person can have, or if there's simply some bad blood within the team because of whatever other reasons. So if I was a coach, I would not want my team to depend on one guy. Never. Even though it could be so good in the case of prime Messi or prime Cristiano Ronaldo, you're still depending on one guy. And if that one guy is injured or in a bad mood or whatever,
then you're screwed.
Yes. And then there's no other alternative because everyone else is kind of looking at that hole and saying, well, what do we do now? Like that's not how you should play football, in my opinion.
So let's look at Barcelona now. So again, pretty much it's a perfect segue. I've never seen a club of the stature of Barcelona be so reliant on one man.
Yes.
Like Messi almost single-handedly won them 3 trophies last season. So in your view, looking at Barcelona now, they've got Griezmann. Obviously, that was the guy that they brought in.
Yeah.
Do you feel they have enough to win this Champions League, or do you feel it's going to be the same old story of them being overly reliant on what Messi can give them?
At this point, I mean, we'd have to wait for like another 2-3 months to actually give a very stable answer to that question. But at this point, I would have to say it's most likely a no. Because, again, Messi isn't Superman, even though he often looks like he is. You know, he often does these things that look insane. He will. I know he will do things with that football that are out of this world, and the talent the man has is amazing. However, he still has a bad day, and he's not 25 anymore, and he has become a bit, aware of himself and aware of what people think of him, which I think any human being would. So there's a bit of arrogance in him as well. And because, he's Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo is arrogant because, yes, he's Cristiano Ronaldo. So I understand, but it still affects the way you play a game. And so all of these things do affect what is happening with Barcelona, and Valverde as a coach is not equipped to run it, honestly.
No, so, again, it's very interesting you bring in Valverde because a lot of guys on the channel say that he needs to go, he's useless and everything. So, in your view, do you think Barcelona should sack Valverde or should he be given another chance?
I think that they should part ways.
Mm.
I wouldn't say that he's useless, but I just don't think that at this point in his career, he is the right man for a club of that size.
Okay, that's fair. Oh, but also another quick point again, because again, we always have this whole Messi versus Cristiano thing. So
Yeah.
I've always got to answer people's views. Now, people's critique of Messi is they call him a one club merchant, i.e., amazing for Barcelona, superb things for Barcelona, but he fails for Argentina.
It's
Has
true.
never really been able to live up to expectations for Argentina, and people question: is he only good in the Barcelona system? To that, you say what?
Well, first of all, he is a man who grew up in Barcelona. He did grow up playing tiki taka, and it's perfectly normal for him to be in his best self when he's playing for Barcelona. Second, the Argentinian national team did not, unfortunately, have the same kind of structure. They
Basically,
didn't.
trash. They are trash, pretty much trash.
No, that is not what I'm saying. They did not have the same structure in 10 or 15 years as Barcelona did. Because La Masia kind of gives you a structure until you travel to Barça B and then to the first team, and that's it. Like you play the same game. When you're in the national teams, oftentimes you'll get a new coach, you'll get someone else training you, someone else having different ideas, and then that got going, and someone else coming, and that happening like 5 times in 10 years. And so you don't have the continuity. Also, the Argentinian national team, in quality versus Barcelona's quality in its prime, cannot really compare as much. So Messi played excellent when he had excellent team players and when he had the kind of structure, which oftentimes did not happen in the Argentinian national
But
team.
okay, but then let's be fair now. Now, let me respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
People have said if you're so great, you can figure it out because people will say, how good was Maradona's team in 1986? But he still
Yes.
managed to figure it out against a team that wasn't great. So, would you say that? Would you say that's a fair criticism? Because like Messi, people are, I don't, but people call him the greatest of all time. So if you're
Yes.
so great, shouldn't you still be able to go to an Argentinian team who are still talented, but not talented Barcelona, but still talented, and still be able to at least get me some G's and try and go further by what you can do as an individual talent?
Well, there's only so much that you can do as one person. I mean, I don't care who you are. You can't play the game every game by yourself, and that is why football is a team sport. And Messi, no matter how good he is, he's still not the only guy in the pitch. So he really does depend a lot on how good or how bad his teammates are.
Okay. So, PSG.
Okay,
Now,
not a fan. Not a fan.
PSG are a bunch of they're the now. Okay, let me just set the scene. Let me just set the scene. Let me just set the scene for you.
All right.
The miracle at Camp Nou.
Okay.
I think this was 2017 or so forth. So PSG win the first leg 4-0. 4-0. They go to the Camp Nou, they score an away goal. And in a space of about 5-6 minutes, Barcelona score 3 goals and knock these losers out. In the space of 4-5 minutes. Ever since then, I call these guys the perennial bottle jobs, the perennial losers. And I say that PSG, they are cursed. And they will never ever win a Champions League. But now,
I
this is
okay.
what this is what many people have said. They said, okay, HH, you may say that, but PSG have never had an entire season when Neymar has been fit. So my question to you is this: a fully fit Neymar. I think
Okay.
this is because I had one of my amigos, Ford, who says that a fully fit Neymar, PSG make the final at the very least. So in your view, a fully because I think Neymar is going to get injured again in February because I've given up on this dude. But in your view, let's just create a scenario: a fully fit Neymar, how far do PSG go?
Semifinals.
So you're saying semis max.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why not? So
Because
what?
again, one person does not win an entire competition unless he's like Messi or maybe Cristiano Ronaldo like once or twice in his life. Um, Normally, football is something that depends on more than just one person. And so for an entire team to depend off of Neymar, I would not see that further than like the semis, honestly.
Okay. What do you think is? Because I mean, I have my views, but I would
Okay.
obviously, because I've obviously given my views on this, and guys know. But in your view, since you're the guest here, what is? Because I think you slightly touched upon it. What is it about PSG? They have the players, they have the money, they have the infrastructure. What is it about PSG that they're missing that they can't get it done in the Champions League?
They don't have the chemistry. You can't buy that. They have an immense amount of money. They have supporters. They have people who have been through the old school PSG that do know what it's like to have an actual football team. And then they have the new generations that have only seen its more plastic version. They don't really tend to create players because it's easier to buy them. And if you have a lot of money, and of course they do, they're going to buy in bulk and they're going to try to make the dream team happen. And on paper, it's going to look perfect. But if they've never really played together, or if someone doesn't like someone else or whatever, it's not going to work well. If they don't have that chemistry, if they don't have that habit of just knowing each other for years and years and years, like Barcelona used to have, you can't buy those things. You can buy the players, but you can't make them be great together. They may be great as individuals, but as a team, no one's really guaranteeing you that. And it's much easier for you to grow players that may even be mediocre on paper, but that complete each other in the field than have, an extra 11 guys that are excellent, but who won't really work well together.